Hey Scorpio, so let's watch for part 2 of 2015. I'm excited to see how all this energy evolves for you. So really what's going on is that you have the Last Judgment. Now, just so you know, a lot of cards, a lot of signs are experiencing the Last Judgment. So make sure to watch the video for your moon and your rising sign to see if there's a correspondence, because if you're getting the Last Judgment in a variety of aspects of your life, in a variety of these astrological aspects, then maybe this is something to really look out for at this new beginning. I think the Last Judgment card is a really great card. It really talks about not being affected by the world at large, by overcoming the world of men and having this divine principle or earth-like principle guiding you out of the mire of the reality that you've been dragged into or drugged into. And so people are pulling you into the mud, yet God and the angels and earth and nature is pulling you out. And so for every setback that you have is experienced by this devil in your midst, and also by the destruction of the status quo of people around you, you're kind of being reciprocated by equal positive energy, and that energy is really coming to you from a higher power, from a higher principle. So you know, I think that this is, I guess, I tried to give you guys summary key statements about each reading because I know I talk a lot. I try to explain everything in detail and try to point to as many circumstances so you can identify yourself in them. But really, I think this is a keep your head down kind of reading. And so that means that this year you're going to be asked to keep your head down, which is okay for Scorpio. You guys have your moments where you come out and shine, and then you go back into your private space and nurture and hone yourself. And that's where your strength comes from, because you're able to really go back and forth and regenerate and renew. And so this is a time when you're kind of below the surface of human interaction. You're spending much more time with yourself, much more time with your own connectedness. If you're connecting to the world, it's a global connection rather than this social connection around you. I think that the social connections in your community are going to become quite problematic for you this year. And so these global connections are what is going to carry you through, as well as your personal study. And I think that that's really associated with even something more esoteric, and that being that God or the angels or earth or being or whatever you call the divine order above us or around us, depending on how you conceive it, is shifting you amid everything. So it's like growing up in a bad neighborhood where everybody has, you know, high rates of pregnancy and drug abuse and convictions, and sticking to your own inner truth and persevering through that, and the world somehow fishing you out of that environment. So we are projects of our environment, yet there's so much to be said about our own personal freedom of choice. And so you've made some choices, particularly in the past, that have established you in a very strong position, and that's not going to go away, provided that you don't waste your energy. But wasting your energy, I don't feel that this is I think that if anything, you're going to be more and more determined this year to maintain and uphold and uplift your energy and move forward. If you have opportunity to study, Scorpio, this is a great year to study. This is a great year to go abroad to study. This is just a year to let go of these people. The people around you are going to be busy with what they have going on, and they're not. So it's better to just kind of focus in on yourself without trying to make those decisions happen. So if you're watching this video and you say, okay, well, I have to go study, so I'm going to go. Don't do that. If the opportunity presents itself, if it's a part of your organic process, then this is a good year to pursue that. So don't force anything in your life based on what I say. I think that that's actually forcing energy in your life is a very unhealthy thing and gets you more stuck into the negative circumstances. So just going with the flow is the best way to approach circumstances. as difficult as they may be, and they do become difficult, and choices do become difficult. So I do recognize that. But for you, a new beginning may emerge, and that new beginning may take some time to form. And so that's the real outcome of everything we spoke about in part 1. And so there is a shift in focus. Now, the thing about the new aeon, it means that a new universe is born. But remember, just like a baby, it takes time to mature and to grow into itself. So it may take some time for you to actually become aware of exactly how that works. And that's why downtime is going to be so important for you this year. It's going to be so important to think about globally expand your consciousness, study. Just focus on things like that, of learning, of gaining perspective. I think that this year is going to be quite rewarding for you if you do pursue that as one of your goals. If you pursue your goal of controlling others, of involving yourself in extensive leadership, although you are in a leadership position, but there's a difference. If you keep on pursuing to be the leader, then you'll find yourself really coming up against other people's issues, and that can become a problem with you because people have a tendency of taking their issues and making them your issues. So keep to yourself, be mindful, fill your leadership position that's already established, but don't go gung-ho in trying to control others, because you're gonna get burned trying to do that. It's not your place to do that this year, at least. It may grow in the future, but I think that there is some time for most Scorpios to develop themselves, particularly with learning, particularly with ascension, and I think that this is the year that it's going to happen. The difficulty in everything that I'm saying is that you're going to feel extremely passionate about taking certain courses in your life, and so this is the Strength card, and you in the position, there's going to be some real urges to respond to the inappropriate nature of some of the interactions that you're having. Really, Scorpio has a very strong need to make wrongs right, and so that can involve with pursuing interactions or pursuing an argument a little bit further. So especially with this person who is quite negative, your baseline instinct is to engage and to put that person in their place and to emancipate yourself. And the lesson of this reading is for you guys to take a step back and not re-engage or not go tit for tat regarding situations, and really kind of go against some of aspects of your nature, and that's making wrongs right. You have to kind of let this person run their course, I think, for the majority of you. I think that any kind of interaction or any kind of confrontation that you have with this person will just cause you time and energy, and you don't really have a lot of excess time and energy this year. Your time and energy will be much more focused on supporting other people and them through their own difficulties, them through their own challenges, and so just kind of that's going to be a challenge. Another challenge for you, Scorpio, is going to be the fact that you are front and center yourself. You are naturally going to become a leader and become center stage, and in reality, your best bet is to be in that private space. So you're going to kind of fight that duality between being front and center and being behind closed doors and private. And so you're going to naturally attract attention, but you're going to want to kind of diffuse that in your life as much as possible because of the duplicitous nature of your social environments this year. Your friends and family position is managed by the High Priestess, also a card of deception, but also a card of great insight. You may find that although the majority of the people you interact with are just not on par this year in terms of loyalty or truthfulness, you may have one or two people come through as oracles, and those people are going to be quite significant. So I'm not sure. People often ask each other, do you prefer to have a few good friends or a lot of okay friends? You know, majority of people pick I want a few good friends. And so this is the card where I would say that a few really valuable people are going to come in your life and enrich it, give you perspective on how to manage situations that may become quite frustrating, or you may become unsure about in the first and the third quarter. So it may become come to an apex in both those times, those different kinds of circumstances. And remember, when I'm talking about this can manifest over and over in your life this year, because it is a yearly reading. So it can actually have lots of different ways that it kind of shows up in your life. It's not just one situation. And then the big lesson of the card is that of power and personal power, and where it derives from. I would suggest that your personal power is derived from self-study, focusing on your own inner gifts, and being courteous towards other people who are involving themselves in your life, but at the same time, not really feeding off of that energy, and if in fact being quite questioning of it and being quite reserved from it. That's the good strategy. The big outcome card is the regeneration card of Scorpio, which is the death card. And so this is it. This is a fundamental shift. I think that there's a fundamental shift in you that's happened, and I think it's caused a bit of an upset. But some of the things of the past are still clinging on to you, and so you have to wait for those things to clear out. And like I said, engaging in any kind of conflict is not in your favor this year. And it's going to be a real waste of time if you do. So because you've already changed and you just need for things to kind of work themselves out, allow the space and give the space for those things to work themselves out so that you can move forward. So let's break it down into the 4 quarters, and then I'll touch on the year again. In the springtime, expect a time of being where you need to be, yet being quite confused about whether that's the place for you or not. I think that in the springtime, this is the card of Aquarius. It's the star. It's the card that says this is where you need, this is destiny, this is what makes sense, but it's not going to feel like home. It's not going to feel like the appropriate place. And you're going to leave yourself scratching your head and wondering, why am I here? How did I get here? I think that a lot of that has to do with your observation of other people. And I think that there may be some different conclusions that you derive with regard to people that you felt were familiar to you. Those people no longer may seem familiar, and you may feel quite discouraged about your interaction with them, about who they are as people and what they stand for. But you have to remember, in this melancholic state, in the state of being unsure whether this is the right path, you're precisely where you need to be. You're precisely where you need to go, and that light is shining down on you and blessing you and taking you to new places, even though that sometimes that may not seem so apparent right off the bat. I think at this time, one of these circumstances may become a flare-up. So you may have a flare-up of issues with that person. I think right off from the beginning of the year, if not already from 2014, you know who that devil amongst you is at a certain level. Maybe at the beginning of the year, you'll need some time to still identify that person or what they're about, and maybe it'll take some time to try to figure out and to even be able to speak to that. So for a while, you may just be observing, you may be watching, you may be thinking like, oh, well, this is the person, but you don't have enough, you have a hunch, so you think you're being paranoid, and then you need time to build up your arsenal of proof in order to prove your paranoia that it's not paranoia at all, that in fact this person is malicious in your life. So in the summer months of how everything fruits and flowers and blossoms, we have the Chariot card. So you personally have a victory in everything. You personally have the power of last year pushing you forward and being victorious and achieving so much with regard to your accomplishments, particularly in work and school. These accomplishments, you're going to have a year of kind of really enjoying your space in your workplace, and then coming home and not feeling as motivated by it, and for a time being, and that's going to shift as well. But I think that in terms of your friends, you're going to feel a very big disparity, particularly in the summer, between your success and between their kind of level. It's like you realize that you're on a very different level from people, and their level is either they're just not nice people, or they're going through some serious stuff that you can't really interject on, and you feel separated from it. I think that maybe you have taken that for granted and you haven't realized quite the extent of that, or the actual change happens for you in the summer in certain respects, and you'll find yourself pushed far beyond the reach of the people who have been with you before, and those people's realities are going to be kind of upset by what's going on, and you're going to be kind of the observer, the fly on the wall, and you're going to be kind of saying, well, I don't have the ability to influence this, so I will just observe and watch what's going on respectfully and cautiously, and there's not much I can do to change this, so I'm just going to be peaceful about it. I'm not gonna you know, that's all I can do at this time, and I can only take care of myself and not necessarily those people that need it. Because the people who need it here, they're only suffering as a result of their own issues. This isn't like you being a jerk, someone who's ignoring people's issues who are suffering. I get the sense that in this situation, this person's really demonic. This person has some really malicious streaks in them. And in this instant, this is people who are interfighting between each other that are bringing the whole, Debbie Downers, they're bringing the whole thing down. And so you're kind of, no, you're not a part of that. You don't own that. So you just need to kind of segregate yourself from it. So in the fall quarter, which is the harvest or the yang energy, the manifestation of everything that you've done in the first 2 quarters, you will see that you will need to blend everything together. Everything will have fallen into place by the fall. And I would say by then this person will be removed, and then also these friends' issues are going to be dissipated. And so then in the fall you will be asked to meld everything together and form it into another cohesive reality, something which encompasses everybody's needs and something that makes you happy, and through that you are going to be the act of the regenerative force and effect on people. And so through that you will be kind of freeing yourself and others and encouraging others. You can really act as a mediator at the beginning of the fall, but very quickly, this is by fall time you're cruising. So you know, by fall time the good high priestesses come in, and then you're not so alone in the middle of everything. Situations cool around you, and so you get more freedom to say what you think and be who you be. And this person will be stunted by the hard work and tenacity through which you have applied yourself in your family situations, in your church, or in your work, in your schooling. So just work hard, and that devil will slowly disappear. He may be there for a while, but I'm hoping that for most of you, he'll just get interested in something else and disappear. And so by the fall, by your harvest, you're going to be able to kind of start integrating some aspects of your life, and it's going to take some time and it's going to take some effort, but I think you'll see it as a creative process, and you're going to feel quite good about it, and you'll be quite tired of the lies and deception and all the anger and resentment that's all around you that you're not a part of. And the outcome card is a blessing. We have the Lovers card for fourth quarter 2015. The Lovers card guards Gemini, and so the Lovers card talks about fraternity. You're finding, again, by the end of the year, you're just ready to find good friends, reconnect with old good friends, with family members, and so the quality of your relationships is the fundamental shift that you achieve by the end of 2015, and what becomes your total focus as you want to move forward. So you're going to kind of do some cleansing in between, overcoming these unfortunately, a lot of this has got to do with things that are external to you. Fortunately, you're not in the middle of them because nobody wants to be. And then, more fortunately, the outcome is something that you actually get to attain. The thing that's most frustrating about both of these situations, you attain the antithesis through antithesis of all the interactions, and you mediating all the factors and working hard to find a common ground. So good for you. Thank you so much for watching, Scorpio, and participating with me in 2014. I wish to make for you guys lots of videos, so keep the suggestions coming. Thank you so much, and give me thumbs up. Encourage your friends to watch my videos. Watch them yourself, and definitely share these videos with your friends through your social media. Thank you so much. Take care. Bye-bye.